Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls on the Gaming Vector. And as you can see, I've made a couple of adjustments to my inventory here, equipping my transient curses, wooden and feather arrows in place of my poison arrows. And now we are ready for our next order of business, which is a rather tall order. So we're going to be heading back down to New Londo Ruins, where in the second episode we got our first, I believe, Firekeeper soul by going through the flooded area with the ghosts, at least partway through there. Now we need to actually complete that area, so we're going to head down and take the elevator down to the ruins. And we need to actually clear the area in order to reach our next boss. So we're just going to make our way back towards where we got the Firekeeper soul and get our transient curse ready. Now we only have one at the moment. We should be able to get our hands on a couple more here momentarily. And hopefully that will be enough to carry us through the area, assuming that I don't actually die. Also, something of note, you'll probably notice me using my fireballs and Great Chaos Fireballs quite judiciously in this area, and that is because I don't really need those for the boss fight that's coming up. My magic is... It can be useful there. There are ways to beat the boss with magic. Why can I not lock onto this frickin' ghost? Bloody hell. Now, there are ways to defeat the boss down here using magic, but the way that I tend to do it, and the way that's always worked for me, is pretty much... Well, I'll show it to you when we actually get there. So this corpse has a couple more transient curses. That should facilitate our ability to get through the area. So now we're going to make our way up this broken staircase, and we're going to have a couple more ghosts at the top. Now we're going to have one over here to the far right, and just want to make sure to take all of these guys out as we go. Ignore that one up there for now because he won't aggro from here. But we want to take out as many of these guys as we go as possible so that they don't end up sneaking up behind us, because they don't have to worry about walls or following set paths or anything like that. There you can see one actually hiding in the wall right there. So just bait her to come out and slam a fireball in her face. It actually did the trick. Now I'm going to target that one. Chuck my Great Chaos Fireball in there. Miss completely. Oh, this is not good. I do not like being surrounded. There we are. Okay. Okay, are they all dead, or is there still... Nope, there's still another one. You can see there's several of them in this room. You only see the one, and then they start coming out of the walls and everywhere, and that's something to keep in mind while we're down here, is that these ghosts can come from pretty much anywhere, and we need to be careful about that, so keeping our shield up at almost all times. Now, come down here, we see an item. And if we look at the wall on the left there, you can see, just barely see the ghost through the wall. We're just going to walk up and hit the wall to try and draw her out and take her down. In here we'll find the parrying dagger. Not something that I've ever personally used. And now we will just make our way around, and we're going to come upon a fog door. First we'll deal with this ghost. And we don't actually want to go through the fog door yet. We want to facilitate our survival as much as possible. So we come around the corner here, and we see this ghost, which that is actually a slightly more powerful and slightly more difficult variety. That is a Banshee. They have a lightning attack along with all the abilities of the other ghosts, and as the ones where the normal ones take about 2 hits to take down with our current stats and weapon setup, they take about 3 hits, so something to keep in mind. Also, whenever I get to the staircase, I always swap back to my transient curse just in case it decides it's going to run out. Because once it does, then there's nothing we can do to these fellas. We're going to step out here just enough to get her to poke down through the ceiling, and then we're just going to sit back and wait for her to come down into a range where we can actually hit her. Come on down here. And then we'll walk out to the end of the ledge here, and there will be a soul consumable there waiting for us. And now we're going to take this ladder down. Now this ladder actually serves as a shortcut. So now if we die, we can make it back down here with relative ease. We still have to run through a small section from the beginning. What this also does is let us get down here and take out the ghosts that are hiding under the bridge. But as I was saying, the reason that ladder is so important is because there are no bonfires down here. You know, the entire place has been flooded. There are no bonfires, so there's no place down here to stop, save your progress, and then move on from. You want to come down here, you're coming from Firelink. That's pretty much the only way to do it. So we're going to head up the ladder and make our way across the top of the walkway those guys were under. So now that we've actually taken them out, they can't, you know, pop up and hit us from underneath or pop up behind us and get us caught on this corner in real dangerous territory. Now, typically... yep, there goes the transient curse wearing off. So that's perfect timing. Typically, I stop here and wait for it to wear off before I move any further ahead. So, luckily, it wore off as soon as we got here, so now I can walk down the stairs. And this building on our right is going to be the bane of my existence and will probably get me killed at least once. But it's also our kind of first real main objective. So there you can see a couple of ghosts down in the water. Just want to get their aggression, move back up the stairs a little bit. There we see one coming out of the wall from the building I was just talking about. So let's thump her in the face with a fireball. There is another. Oh, over her head. All right, fair enough. Right in the face. Just get out of here with that bullshit. And as you can see, she dropped an item that is just out of our reach. Most likely, that is a transient curse, or possibly a pair of them. However, there is the slight possibility that it is the, what's it called? The Jagged Dagger, which is actually the weapon that they're using. Which, the nice thing about that weapon, I don't use it much, but the nice thing about that weapon is it's a cursed weapon. Now, with a cursed weapon, you can actually come down here and fight these ghosts without having to have transient curses available. So now we're going to slowly make our way into this house, and in this first room, we should have a ghost or two pop up, unless I manage to bait all of them out. Anybody? Anybody coming? Oh, yeah, there's one above me. And there's one behind me. Okay. Walk on the one that's on the ground. Whoa, don't walk out the door. Oh, lost my bearings there for a moment. Alright. Now, what I tend to like to do, if I can, is move through the edges of the building first. And, oh, wow. Just straight up grabbed me, alright. Oh, I don't like this position that I have gotten myself into. Roll away. Heal. Oh, yeah, there you can see the Banshee's lightning blasts. We need to back off. Alright. Chaos Fireball should deal with both of them in short order. And I'm probably... God bless. Probably better off going after the Banshee with just straight up my sword. Bam, there we are. Okay. So we took a lot of hits there, but we're still alright. Yeah, I like to move around the edges of the building because then we can draw the ghosts out in smaller packs. Because if you go into that central room next to where I was just standing a minute ago. You can see there's another one above us trying to poke at us. Yeah, or not all, but most of these ghosts are coming from that central room. Wow, that's a lot of them. Alright. Oh, I switched to the fireball and I didn't bother to actually... Actually, I may not need the fireball. What the... Oh, there's another one. Of course there's another one. There's always another one. Okay. Oh, I can't. I don't like this place. It makes me very, very nervous. But you see, most of those ghosts are coming from that center room. So now that we've thinned them out, it'll be a little bit safer to go in there. Also, you'll notice you see me hitting the wall a lot. That is, you can kind of hit them through the walls when they're, you know, kind of hiding behind them or hiding inside the walls. Because you don't have to make a full strike. You just basically have to hit like one of their limbs. So in the center room here, just making sure we've taken care of all of these guys, which it would appear we have. And I want to finish clearing out the bottom part of the house before I move up into the upper sections. And there should be a couple more ghosts down here that I would like to get rid of, if possible. Because there's also an item down here that could be very, very useful later on. Oh, there you are. Well, I just wasted my attack kicking the ghost. Luckily, I still managed to kill it. And here we find the curse bite ring. Now, basically, I'm pretty sure... I can't remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure I showed when we were talking to the pardoner in the church, back in the episode where we fought the gargoyles, that he had a couple of rings, the blood bite ring and poison bite ring, that reduce the buildup of those specific things, you know, bleeding and poison. Curse bite ring does the same thing. It'll be very, very handy later on. So now we just want to make our way up this ladder, and when we get to the top, we're going to take a quick look around to make sure that there's no other ghosts waiting for us, which there shouldn't be. Looks like we are relatively safe. And then down here, we're going to find an NPC.
Well, this is a surprise. I get few visitors, save for ghosts. You have the Lord Vessel. Very impressive. I know exactly what your intentions are. You seek the four kings whom I guard over. This is the key to the seal. The four kings slumber in the deepest chamber of the ruins. Use this key to break the seal and open the floodgates. Oh, and do not forget, the Darkwraiths reside in a dark void called the Abyss. But the Abyss is no place for ordinary mortals. Although, long ago, the knight Artorius traversed the Abyss. If you can find him and learn from him, the Abyss may prove surmountable.
So if you remember in the last episode when I was talking about Artorius, typically what you would do is you would make your way down here because, you know, assuming you... Well, the assumption is you would make your way down here, you would run into this guy, he'd give you that key, you would talk to him, and he would mention Artorius, and then you go searching for Artorius, which, you know, basically leads you to Sif, because Artorius is no longer alive, and yada yada yada. I just did it in a little bit out of order way, because it's actually quicker to do it that way than to come all the way down here, then go all the way back to the garden, then come all the way back down here, and yada yada yada. So now we're going to make our way down and out of this house, and we're going to need to be a little bit wary of the ghosts again, but not as much as we have been. Down here around the corner, we are going to find a green Titanite shard, and then we're going to head back up the stairs and finish off kind of the first half of this area, which I'm actually making a pretty good pace for this area, which is rather surprising because I'll be honest, I tried doing a dry run of this area on a different character before I started recording this. It did not go well. So just making our way along out here, and we should find a few more items as we're running around out here. There is a humanity. If you look over on the side of the building there, you can also see another item. And we could actually jump out there and get that, but the problem is we miss that jump and we die, and then we have to make our way all the way back down here. So I will probably grab that last thing after we do a couple of other small things here. So we're going to head up these stairs, and this will lead us out onto a walkway. And over here, we'll find the composite bow and some large arrows. You'll also see that we are actually in the Valley of the Drakes. So if you... I'm trying to remember if we ran down this way or not. I think we did to get the longbow. Yeah, we did, because we got the grass crest shield too, of course. So from the right over there, that's where the exit up to Firelink and down to Blighttown is. Then over there is the path that we run along. There's the ruined kind of tower that we got into to take the elevator into the forest. And down there is the bridge with the lightning drakes on it. So just another interesting little way that everything kind of ties together. So now we are actually going to break the seal on New Londo, and this will release the water from the city. So though we'll use the key to the seal, and then we will turn this mechanism and have a short little cutscene where basically the ruins of New Londo will no longer be flooded. So a little bit of lore while we're watching this happen. The gentleman that we talked to up on the rooftop, his name is Ingward. He was one of 3 sealers. He is the only one still alive that we know of. One of them died in Blighttown. You can find his robes and whatnot there. The other one, I'm not sure where that one actually disappeared to. But they sealed this off and flooded the city because the abyss was spreading in New Londo and had created, well, in a manner of speaking, had created the Darkwraiths. And now we need to actually go down and traverse the abyss in order to kill the 4 kings of New Londo. Why do we need to kill the 4 kings? Well, once again, something you wouldn't realize until possibly your second playthrough of the game is that typically what you would do on your first run through is you would grab the Lord Vessel and then you would go talk to Kingseeker Frampt. Also, there is a rare ring of sacrifice. But typically you would go and you would talk to Kingseeker Frampt, and he'd take you and you'd do some things with the Lord Vessel, so on and so forth. Also, we can't just drop back into the building. I am out of my mind. Yep, there we are. However, in this case, what we are actually doing is surpassing going and talking to Kingseeker Frampt, because he would tell us that, hey, you need to kill the 4 kings, and you need to kill these other enemies in order to fill the Lord Vessel to do this specific thing that you have to do, yada, yada, yada. But being that this is not our first playthrough, and we kind of know what we're getting ourselves into, we're going to go ahead and bypass all of that and just go straight after the 4 kings. Now, I should probably homeward bone out of here and go heal up. Not necessarily heal up, but I want to try and get my hands on a couple more items. Also, yeah. Yep, see, Valley of the Drakes. It all connects back around on itself. Also, if you look at the floor, we are actually walking on dead bodies, which is really, really, really gruesome. Whoa, and our first Darkwraith. Okay, buddy. Calm down there. So, with these guys, these are the Darkwraiths of Koth. And these guys are no joke. And probably one of the most dangerous things that they have is they have this weapon called the Dark Hand. You can get a Dark Hand by killing enough of them, and we will eventually get one. But what the Dark Hand does is it allows them to steal humanity from their victims. It also acts as their shield. If you ever see him actually pull his arm up and use his kind of shield thing, that is one of the abilities of the Dark Hand. But it allows them to steal humanity from their enemies. If we can get our hands on one of those, we can use it to steal humanity from our enemies, including other players. Oh boy. So there's our second Darkwraith cut down. They also tend to drop Titanite of the chunk, and do they drop shards or do they just drop chunks? It may just be chunks. And once again, I should probably use a Homeward Bone, get out of here, and go heal up, but we're so close to the boss that I kind of want to go take a stab at him. Before I do, though, I need to get a couple of more items out of here. Yeah, just keep hitting me. And backstab. Just kind of slowly making our way through the area. There's another Darkwraith over there to our right. And then we have this giant blob of nastiness over here. I guess he's actually on our right, isn't he? Oh, that's not good. Get that junk off of me. Oh, and I'm dead. Okay, well, that's actually alright. Because that's typically how I tend to go through here anyway, is I'll just fight my way as far through as I can until I die, because there's actually an item I need to get by getting past that guy. Unfortunately, this is going to spawn us all the way back at Firelink Shrine. Fortunately, there is a what is most likely an unintended shortcut that will allow us to get back to where we were from here very, very quickly once we actually get back down to New Londo. So, we're just going to make our run back down the stairs here, and looking at the clock, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this is probably going to be a long episode, as you've probably already figured out from looking at the timestamp on it, but that's quite alright, because I want to finish New Londo all in one go so we can put it behind us, because this is, like, between Blighttown and this place, they are my two least favorite areas of the game, and everything after this, well, almost everything after New Londo is stuff that I really, I don't mind going through again. They're not, in my opinion, they're not terribly difficult areas, aside from one. But they're actually fun areas with some cool things going on in them. So, I just want to get through New Londo, so we're going to do it in this episode one way or another. Unless I get killed... Oh, pardon me. Unless I get killed again, which hopefully won't happen. But we're going to take our same path to a point, and then I will actually be able to show you this shortcut, which will cut a whole bunch of time off of our trek. So we're going to stop right here, pop another transient curse, because we will have ghosts in our way again. But these first couple we can just sprint past, which is my intention. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a break for that back right corner where we found the two transient curses on our last trip through here. See, right there's the body where we found the transient curses. And we're just going to drop off down next to this pool of water. And we are pretty much right where we left off at this point. So over here to the right, we want to go ahead and deal with this guy. If you could stop swinging, that'd be great. Ow, bollocks. Stop trying to kill me. Oh, that didn't kill him. Oh, that didn't kill him. Okay. Overzealous with my attack. That was my own doing. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to use a humanity for this, because I'm going to have to burn through a bunch of these here before too long anyway. Plus that will increase our item discovery. We'll grab the Titanite chunk. That puts us back at full health. Go ahead and grab this Soul of a Proud Knight. And now, right up here, we will actually find where we died. Yep, see, we actually weren't... We came into this room from the other side last time. So let's go ahead and deal with the Darkwraith on the right. And I'm going to use a fireball because I can. Get away from me. Stop swinging your big sword. There we go. Cool. Alright, that's one Darkwraith down. Now... Oh, yes. The giant blob of nastiness. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what this enemy is called. Also, you can see the little floating enemy that he just spawned above him. Those guys are basically suicide bombers. So we'll back off and let him explode. Oh, I'm out of fireballs. I'm out of Great Chaos Fireballs. Let's actually avoid that attack this time. That was a bad throw. If I can coax the skull into exploding. God bless it. Oh boy. Here's an idea. How about you just die? Christ. What a pain in my ass. Alright, and then we should have another Darkwraith to deal with, but let's grab our souls back up. Also, there you can see I forgot to turn off my notifications yet again. Getting really bad about that. Hey, 2 Darkwraiths. Alright, that's not fair, guys. Can't do this 2-on-1 shit. It's not how Darkwraiths operate. Don't you know anything? Alright, so just back off, and there you can actually see him using the Dark Hand as a shield. You'll notice I'm locking on a lot with my fireballs. I'll be honest, that may not be necessarily the best thing to do, because a lot of times enemies will try and dodge out of the way. Specifically, it's more specifically a PvP thing, but a lot of times... Hey, we got a Dark Hand. Sweet. A lot of times, especially in PvP, other players will, you know, very easily dodge out of the way of the fireball. I mean, you know, knowing the timing of it, if you've played with pyromancy at all, it's pretty easy to learn the timing. And then being able to dodge it is not, you know, incredibly difficult. Oh! Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, you are kidding me. Okay, well, it would appear this actually isn't going to be a long episode. In the next episode, we're going to go take out the 4 kings of New Londo Ruins. But for now, I have been your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and thank you for watching.